family is a great task.
You saw the wickedness of man and knew you would not look away.
We have to save the innocent.
Did you really think you could protect yourself from me?
It's not protection from you.
I'm curious, Methuselah is in the story of Noah, but it's not necessarily his story. Do you go back to the original story of Methuselah, or are you really just concentrating on the Noah story?
As an actor?
Yeah. Do you look at the...
No, I don't look at anything. I just read the script. But I noticed that I did check it out. I thought Methuselah, I didn't remember him figuring in Noah, because he's just in the chronological order of the descendants. So he doesn't appear in the myth or the story. But it's interesting that Darren reinterpreted that, offers Moses a cup of tea, which is a nice cup of tea. Sounds very Welsh where I come from. But I asked Darren if I could play him in Welsh, well, my Welsh accent, because we're a pretty ancient tribe. But I thought it was great poetic license. And Methuselah, as an old man, he's probably got a couple of tricks up his sleeve. He knows what's what. He's like a shaman, an advisor, a prophet, or a counselor. And I enjoyed playing him. When Jennifer Connelly has asked me, what should we do? I said, no, there's nothing we can do. Just don't mess with it. Otherwise, go back to the beginning again. It's all going to work out as it's meant to work out.
Obviously, you've worked with Russell Crowe and Darren Aronofsky in the past. To what end does having that familiarity help you in the process?
It's nice, it's nice to work again with, old friends and people that you worked happily with before, which was the case with both of them. I had amazing experiences with each of them the first time we worked together, and equally rewarding experiences this time.
It's a story that's been told in 1,000 different forms in many different ways. To what end do you explore other iterations of it before tackling the character?
Well, I really looked at, the Bible, and which I think was the obviously most important source to work from, and the script that we had to work with, and then read other parts of the Bible for support and inspiration. I also read, history, archaeology, gathering insight and information.
Tell me how this one started for you.
How this all started? I heard that Darren Aronofsky was going to be making a film, and I said, I want to do it. I didn't know what it was. Found out it was Noah, and that there were 2 parts that I could possibly be right for. I was in the middle of filming another movie while this happened, and I was just like, I just completely shifted focus, which was like a horrible thing to do when you're invested in a project. To just be like, all right, this is what I want to do now. But that's kind of what happened, and just fought hard to be a part of it. Really did, yeah.
Everyone in the movie is sort of, the choices they make have defined who they are.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you tell me, just working with this collective group of actors and finding those facets of one another?
Yeah. I mean, we're all such different actors. Most of my work, like pretty much all of my work, was with Russell Crowe and Ray Winstone. I didn't really work with anyone else. Like, I'd be in scenes with them, but we didn't really, communicate. And, they were incredible people to work with. The choices and, how giving they are incredible to watch. But, like, at the same time, there are those moments where I'm like, shit, man, these are people I'm like, I've seen in, like, some of my favorite movies. So you get kind of tripped out.
So one of the interesting things about Tubal Cain is he's sort of the dark side of Noah.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that, because I see him as Noah in a lot of ways. The Cain and Abel thing and all that, the bloodline. But what makes him go the way he is, he's a king, and a king is a human who gets power, and, the power gets corrupted, as we see all over the world all the time, But also, I think he's a son that's shunned by his father, the creator. And this this is enough to drive anyone to the dark side, I think, you know. So that's, for me, was what it's all about.
It's interesting too because he's technically the villain. He's the antagonist certainly, and yet we kind of identify. We get he just wants to live. He wants to live in a world of men,
which is survival. And that was always my thing. And not necessarily when villains are written, that's on the page, you know. And I've done some work with Darren on that, you know. I always saw this film as much more of an intelligent look at it, rather than just being an epic kind of blockbuster movie, you know. And Darren, you kind of know you was going to get that with him anyway. He was going to be able to sit down and rather than just play an archetypal kind of villain, to bring something else. So you know, when an audience walk out, they can question and they can answer, you know, and they can argue about it. And who is the good guy? Who is the bad guy? You know, because Noah goes off on his way as well. He's kind of loses the plot along the line, and he wants to save the animals, the beasts. Yeah, I kind of want to save humanity with me in it, you know. So there is a question about that, you know.
I think it's true that it's, you know, I think that the movie is bold. I think it shatters expectations. I think it's creative. I think it's innovative, but at the same time, it's true to the spirit of the story that's in the Bible, you know.
You're also shooting at some really magnificent places. Can you tell me about going to Iceland?
Iceland was a real joy and privilege. It's like no place I've ever been. You know, in the movie, the locations, I think, are extraordinary. Methuselah's mountain is this vivid green mountain surrounded by black sand, which was really like that. It wasn't, it's not CGI. I've just never seen anything like it. And on a personal level, you know, having that time over the summer, you know, walking on glaciers and getting lowered into volcanoes, I've just never had experiences like that anywhere.
I didn't get to go to Iceland, but I've been there before, so I know how beautiful that is. It seems strange shooting Noah in Long Island and then in Williamsburg in the armory there, and then we get hit by a flood. You know, we had the big storm in New York while we was making the movie, and kind of weird looking out the window the next morning, you know, after the power station had blown up. And there was no electric down in the south of Manhattan, and just seeing all these people just slowly walking north whilst you're making a film about the same subject, and it was very surreal, you know.
It's a fascinating story to me because as grand as the scale is, it's a very small story playing out between the characters.
Yeah, but it's on this film, it's a big story, isn't it? Much bigger, because there's more personality involved. The torment and the cruelty between, you know, the wanting to sacrifice the two daughters and the sudden realization that life is precious and it's a gift. And he triumphs because he's a good spiritual, but like all good men, he has his demons, he has his struggles with the darkness, like Jacob and the wrestling with the angel of God. That's the wonderful thing about the human spirit, is the struggle within the conflicts within the human psyche. I think that's what the Bible is so smart about it. We have to struggle. And we sometimes destroyed in the struggling, but we have to find a way to, not just about survival and stamping people into the ground, but a way of emerging and saying, yes, we can all live together.
This ray is meant to wash us off the face of this world. No! You want me to stay a child? No!
I'm asking you to be a man.
We kill Noah! We take the ark!
The choice was put in your hands for a reason.
Our time is done.
Noah, in theaters and IMAX, March 28th.
Fine,
I couldn't resist bringing you some berries.
Oh, thank you.
No worries.
I like raspberries. George, yes, sir. Can I take these and have these for lunch? Thank you.
No worries.
Silas,
have an old friend for dinner. Okay.
Silas Lesnick with ComingSoon.net.
Having an old friend for dinner.